Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. I'm excited about the opportunity to discuss my qualifications for the recycling coordinator position. With a strong passion for sustainability and waste management, I've developed practical experience in program development, public outreach, and compliance with environmental regulations. I believe this role is essential in guiding communities and organizations toward more sustainable waste practices. I look forward to sharing how my background and skills align with your mission and how I can contribute to your recycling initiatives. 1. Can you describe your experience with planning and implementing recycling programs? During my time working in municipal waste management, I was responsible for the development and execution of several recycling programs for both residential and commercial sectors. I began by conducting waste audits to understand the volume and types of materials being discarded. Using that data, I created tailored recycling strategies, including scheduling, container placement, and public education materials. My focus was on increasing participation and reducing contamination. I collaborated with local haulers, property managers, and city departments to ensure logistics aligned with our goals. I also initiated a pilot recycling project in a large residential complex that improved diversion rates by 32% over 6 months. Success relied heavily on clear communication, signage, and community involvement. I tracked performance using monthly reports and made adjustments based on participation data and contamination levels. Working closely with environmental services and community outreach teams helped in maintaining engagement and long-term commitment to sustainability. In each program, my emphasis was on making recycling simple, accessible, and effective. This hands-on experience, combined with my strategic planning skills, gives me confidence in managing and scaling recycling initiatives that are both environmentally and operationally successful. 2. How do you engage and educate the public about recycling practices? Outreach and education are essential in ensuring that recycling programs are effective. I've developed and implemented several public engagement campaigns that address common misconceptions and promote best practices. One strategy one uses is community workshops. These events provide residents with hands-on opportunities to learn how to sort waste, identify recyclable materials, and understand contamination issues. I also design easy-to-read educational materials like flyers, posters, and digital graphics that are distributed through mailers, websites, and social media. In schools, I've partnered with educators to bring recycling curriculum to students and organize poster contests and recycling challenges. This not only informs students, but encourages families to participate. In addition, I've worked with local media outlets and community groups to spread awareness. Measuring the success of outreach includes conducting follow-up surveys and monitoring participation rates and contamination data. Feedback is used to improve future campaigns. I tailor messages to different demographics by considering language, cultural relevance, and communication preferences. Partnering with trusted community organizations increases credibility and reach. One of my most successful campaigns increased household recycling compliance by 40% in under a year. Ultimately, education needs to be continuous, engaging, and accessible. I believe the more people understand how their actions impact the environment, the more likely they are to adopt consistent recycling habits. 3. What strategies do you use to reduce contamination in recycling streams? Contamination control starts with proper education and is sustained through system design and consistent monitoring. My first step is always community education, ensuring residents and businesses know what materials are accepted and how to prepare them correctly. I've found that clear signage, visual aids, and simple instructions on recycling bins significantly reduce mistakes. Beyond education, I work to simplify the recycling process. For example, color-coded bins with visual labels help users make quick and correct choices. I also conduct spot checks and provide feedback in multifamily properties and commercial buildings. This might include OOPS tags on contaminated bins with explanations and suggestions. Another effective strategy is engaging building managers or community champions to oversee practices and serve as points of contact. I've also organized short training sessions for custodial and janitorial staff to ensure back-end handling doesn't undo residents' efforts. Consistent communication is key. I update guidelines and share reminders through emails, newsletters, and social media. In one project, I reduced contamination by 45% in a year by combining audits, education, and behavioral nudges. It's important to treat this as an ongoing process rather than a one-time fix. Understanding why people make certain mistakes, whether out of confusion or convenience, helps shape strategies that change behavior and maintain cleaner recycling streams. 4. How do you stay informed about changes in recycling markets and regulations? Staying current with recycling industry trends, market shifts, and regulations is crucial for effective program management. I regularly subscribe to and read publications such as Waste Dive, Recycling Today, and Resource Recycling. These provide insights into material values, legislative changes, and innovations in recycling technology. I also participate in webinars, workshops, and conferences hosted by professional organizations like SWANA, Solid Waste Association of North America, and NRC, National Recycling Coalition. These events not only offer updates, but provide opportunities to exchange ideas with other professionals in the field. I stay in touch with local and state environmental agencies to ensure all programs align with current regulations. Additionally, I built strong relationships with recycling processors and haulers who often share updates on market conditions that impact what can be collected or how it should be prepared. I track changes in export markets, such as shifts in demand from overseas buyers, which can influence local program requirements. Internal reports and audits also help identify how external trends affect local performance. When significant changes occur, I translate that information into clear communication for the public. My proactive approach ensures compliance, avoids disruptions, and enables timely adaptations to recycling strategies that reflect the current landscape. 5. What experience do you have collaborated with vendors or contractors? Vendor and contractor collaboration is a major part of ensuring recycling services operate efficiently and cost-effectively. I've worked closely with haulers, materials recovery facilities, MRFS, and service providers to coordinate collection routes, improve material quality, and negotiate service agreements. My approach is rooted in clear communication and mutual goals. I begin by establishing expectations around performance metrics, contamination thresholds, and reporting. During contract development, I help draft scope of work language that aligns with program goals and compliance requirements. Regular meetings with vendors help maintain service quality and address issues proactively. I also coordinate site visits to understand logistical constraints and ensure safe, accessible infrastructure. In one case, I worked with a contractor to redesign a multifamily collection system, resulting in a 25% improvement in collection efficiency and fewer missed pickups. Transparency and timely feedback are essential. I use data from contamination reports and service logs to troubleshoot problems together and adjust strategies. Budget awareness is also key. I conducted cost analyses and leveraged cooperative purchasing to reduce expenses. In summary, I value collaboration based on transparency, accountability, and shared problem solving. Strong vendor relationships support long-term program success and ensure recycling efforts meet both community needs and environmental standards. 6. How do you measure the success of a recycling program? Success in recycling programs is best evaluated using a combination of quantitative data and qualitative feedback. I begin by setting measurable goals tied to diversion rates, contamination reduction, and participation levels. Collection data from haulers provides a tonnage of recycled materials, which I compare against landfill disposal to calculate diversion percentages. Contamination rates are tracked through audits and reports from processors. I monitor changes over time to assess the impact of educational campaigns or operational changes. Public surveys and direct feedback from residents and staff offer valuable insights into satisfaction levels and potential barriers. One key indicator I rely on is the frequency and quality of participation. High participation with low contamination usually signals a healthy program. I've developed dashboards and reports to visualize performance trends and communicate results to stakeholders. In some programs, I use pilot initiatives to test new strategies and compare results against control areas. Benchmarking against similar municipalities or industry standards also helps determine where improvements are needed. For long-term impact, I look at cost savings from reduced waste disposal and increased revenue from recyclables. Combining these data points provides a full picture of program effectiveness. Clear evaluation not only justifies investment, but helps optimize programs for continual improvement. 7. What challenges have you faced in recycling programs, and how did you overcome them? Recycling programs often face a range of challenges, from low participation and contamination to budget constraints and changing regulations. One significant challenge I encountered was in a multi-unit residential complex where residents frequently misuse recycling bins, leading to high contamination. The issue stemmed from unclear signage and lack of awareness. To address it, I conducted a waste audit and resident survey to pinpoint problem areas. I redesigned signage using visuals and translated materials, held on-site education events, and implemented a tag and feedback system for contaminated bins. Within 3 months, contamination dropped by 40%. Budget limitations have also posed challenges. In response, I've secured grant funding from state environmental agencies to support education materials and infrastructure improvements. Another challenge has been adapting programs to shifting recycling markets, like when China restricted imports of recyclables. I work with vendors to revise accepted materials lists and launched a public campaign explaining the changes and promoting waste reduction. Resistance to change is another hurdle, especially in established systems. I've learned to engage stakeholders early, pilot changes, and provide transparent communication. Each challenge offers an opportunity to innovate and improve. My focus is always on proactive problem solving, listening to community needs, and adapting strategies to deliver reliable, resilient recycling programs. 8. How do you promote waste reduction alongside recycling? Recycling is vital, but waste reduction must be the first priority. I actively promote strategies that minimize waste at the source, which reduces environmental impact and operational costs. I've led waste reduction campaigns that emphasize practices like reusable products, composting, and smart purchasing. One successful initiative was a Bring Your Own campaign at municipal offices that reduced single-use plastics by 60%. I incorporate waste prevention into all educational outreach, showing people how to reduce packaging, avoid disposable items, and buy in bulk. I also work with procurement departments to revise purchasing policies, encouraging environmentally preferable products. In schools and businesses, I've organized waste audits and zero-waste challenges to identify areas for improvement and celebrate progress. Composting programs, especially for food waste, have been a major focus. I've introduced organics collection in public buildings and trained staff on setup and maintenance. Encouraging repair and reuse through swap events or repair cafes also supports waste reduction. Data is important. I track overall waste generation and use that to measure progress. My messaging always highlights that the best waste is the one never created. Promoting this mindset alongside recycling encourages more conscious consumption habits and builds long-term sustainability in communities. 9. How do you customize recycling programs for different settings like schools or businesses? Every setting has its unique waste stream, space constraints, and user behavior, so customization is critical. For schools, I focus on student engagement and curriculum integration. I work with teachers to create age-appropriate lessons and organize classroom sorting stations. I've coordinated recycling competitions and classroom presentations that get students involved and create a culture of sustainability. Signage in schools includes icons and color coding for younger audiences. In businesses, I start with a waste audit to understand the types and volume of waste generated. Based on findings, I design tailored collection systems and provide training sessions for employees. Offices, restaurants, and industrial settings all require different approaches. For example, food service areas benefit from paired compost and recycling bins with clear instructions. I consult with facilities and custodial staff to ensure the back-end process supports front-end sorting. Communication is key. Whether it's posters in lunchrooms or digital reminders, I adapt the message for the setting. I've implemented successful systems in retail stores, warehouses, and universities, each adjusted to the operational reality. Collaboration with stakeholders ensures that solutions are practical and embraced. Customization leads to higher participation, lower contamination, and greater program success in each environment. 10. Why are you interested in this position, and what do you hope to achieve? I'm deeply committed to environmental sustainability and believe that recycling coordination is a powerful way to make a lasting impact. This position aligns perfectly with my passion and professional experience in waste management and public engagement. I see recycling not just as a service, but as a community-driven initiative that builds awareness and responsibility. I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to your organization's efforts and help improve recycling rates and waste reduction practices. My goal is to strengthen current programs by using data-driven strategies and education to increase participation and decrease contamination. I also hope to build stronger partnerships between government, residents, and service providers. Long-term, I like to implement innovative projects such as zero-waste initiatives, enhance organics collection, and technology integration for better tracking and outreach. I thrive in roles that allow me to blend strategic thinking with hands-on implementation. This role provides that perfect balance. I want to bring fresh ideas, a collaborative spirit, and a commitment to continuous improvement. Being part of a team that shares these values is something I truly look forward to. Ultimately, I hope to inspire lasting change that benefits both the environment and the community for years to come. I'm passionate about sustainable waste solutions and confident in my ability to lead effective recycling programs. I'm eager to bring my experience, creativity, and commitment to this role to drive meaningful environmental impact in your community.